Now, just a little warning before we begin. There will be major spoilers in this video for Black Adam. So, you haven't seen it yet, you don't want anything ruined, it is a really good time to click away. Okay, so what did you think of Black Adam?
I think it felt a lot like a Marvel film to me.
Huh. Why do you say that?
They did a couple of the tricks and tropes that Marvel has done as tried and true. We did the mirror villain. Marvel loves the mirror villain, where you're overarching your real villain is really someone just like you.
Okay.
You know, Council of Wizards, Council of Demons, they both have a champion who seem to have very similar power stuff and setup.
Not that the villain was even a thing until the last
which I think I liked that
quarter of the movie at most.
I know that's actually contradictory to a lot of things.
I kind of felt the whole movie, I was like, so who's the bad guy here? Is it Black Adam? Is it the guys trying to stop him randomly?
I almost think I like that they let the setup actually happen.
What setup?
The setup of who Black Adam is. I mean, that was what this whole thing was about.
Oh, yeah.
This was a character piece on who is he, where is he going, who was he, what's he going to be.
That's a generous...
Might be generous, but he's kind of like a Dr. Doom, where he only cares about his country, his people, and everyone else can go shove it.
That's one way to put it.
So yeah, he could be a villain to the rest of the world, but to his people, he is the champion. He is their protector.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Doom is to Latveria.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's a bad guy and he does bad guy stuff, but his people love him.
Fair enough. Yeah, he is the champion of the people. Mm-hmm. The people's champion. Oh my God, The Rock.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to set that up.
You're so lame.
Am I?
They also did the goofy music cues that Marvel likes so much, where you have the serious moment and then you put in some weird song for reasons.
They had like the goofy side character, which Marvel does a lot of the time,
yeah.
like a Darcy type character, where you're like, why is this person even in the movie?
Yeah, they had
the brother.
The
electrician. I mean, he actually.
And
I will
one
say,
of the heroes.
I will say there was a moment or two with him that I'm like, okay, that was actually, you got me. That was kind of funny with him dying from electricity. So he's like, I can't die to these guys. Like, okay, that was kind of funny. All right,
I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They said they did a lot of Marvel-esque things in this movie to me.
Do you think they're trying to copy Marvel? You think there's a conscious effort like to make this feel like a Marvel movie?
Could be a natural evolution to them, and it could be them saying, you know what, these are some of the things that we feel work with Marvel, or maybe they thought trying to keep their products more comic based would be a way to go. Bringing in the Justice Society, we've got Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Cyclone, Atom Smasher. They're bringing in more obscure characters out of their catalog. Well, not entirely obscure. I mean,
yeah, they're not. Well, they're not the A-listers, are they? They're not the Supermans. No. Well, we got Superman. I mean, but it's not the top tier. That's for sure.
No, they went with a different squad of heroes, and I think it worked for them. A different squad of heroes with a different mission, all somehow still kind of run by Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
God, I hate her.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of the Nick Fury of the DC, EU, I guess we could call it still.
Right, but I think she's even more cutthroat than he is, because she's also like, I run the prisons too, and I'm running a covert bad guy group too, and Nick Fury kind of stuck with the good guys.
I think one of my biggest gripes is it felt like a lot of DC movies are like, okay, the team is going to go and do something, and it was just like all of a sudden like Amanda Waller shows up like, I'm going to send this, and it's like the 10th time I swear DC has done this, where they like run down the roster of the characters they're going to send in because you don't know it. I mean, the average person doesn't know any of these characters because they haven't been set up anywhere else. So it felt like the 10th time that I've seen DC do this like roll call. Where it's like, right. Here's, her, and she has this power, and then there's him with this power, and then you get this brief little snippet of, them doing something. I mean, this is like Suicide Squad does it every time, and I feel like it's just this thing that DC does. Like, we don't actually establish our characters.
Didn't show what they did, it just showed them.
I guess it did. It wasn't as bad as has been done in the past, but I feel like DC keeps doing this because they don't have the time like Marvel has to establish all these different characters, so you don't need to do a roll call. It's just, oh yeah, that character from that showed up. It's like DC's like, okay, we got to introduce new characters, roll call, Hawkman, present.
At least they spent a little bit of time on each of them, but not too much time. They did keep their focus squarely on Black Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's like I'm supposed to, the Dr. Fate Hawkman thing was kind of It was nice. I mean, it was kind of emotional, but it's like, okay, like we don't even really know anything about you guys being like buddies. It's like we're just getting it implied, I guess.
Yeah, they told us they were buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Whereas had there been a
We don't-
Hawkman Dr.
yeah.
Fate movie, which who knows how well that would do, but had there been some kind of actual setup where I understood the relationship between these two characters, other than they happen to be on this same team, I think it works better. Even though, I mean, two great performances, I thought overall. I didn't, you know what I mean? I thought the acting here there was fine. I didn't have any issues with that per se, so I kind of bought into it at least a little bit.
Hawkman, I think, did a great job portraying who he is. He gets angry and he's kind of, take charge, do things my way, let's get this done.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in the portrayal of Dr. Fate,
Pierce
the character.
Brosnan, really?
I thought Pierce did a great job. I'm just going to call him Pierce. We're close now. Pierce Brosnan.
Your buddy, Pierce?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
I
friends
thought
with
he
everybody,
did a
apparently.
great job portraying
Dr. Fate?
Kent,
Okay.
but we didn't really see Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is its own persona. When you put on the helmet, you are no longer yourself.
Well,
you
they even
are
say that.
Dr. Fate, but he didn't.
Well, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying...
So many things he did with the helmet on were things that Dr. Fate would not have done. Because I know it sounds stupid, but Dr. Fate, in a way, can come across as arrogant and self-serving.
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It didn't seem like he was being possessed. It seemed like he was just doing his thing normally.
Yeah, and like he can reason with fate and stuff at times, but it really felt like the human aspect was in control most of the time. That we didn't really see Dr. Fate or really get the solid impression of the possession.
Yeah. I would just say it was kind of this weak... The weakest part of the movie for me was like really okay, you got to go. This super bad guy has woken up after 5,000 years that we of course know about. You guys have to go take him down for reasons.
Because he's a bad guy.
Exactly. And he, well, that's my
Because
thing.
we have
It's
this
like
history
he's
text that say he is a bad guy. And all of a sudden there's explosions and stuff happening and people seem to be dying.
Yeah, but it's like we didn't care about this country until Black Adam was there.
Exactly. That was part of the points the movie was making,
Yes,
which
and
I really
understood
appreciated.
that. I get that.
I do like that they dropped part of the Justice Society's name. They're the Justice Society of America. That's how it was originally founded. They left that off, coincidentally.
Justice
Saying that
Society
they
of the world.
balance the world's power. And I like that they got some clat back. Is where were you? Where these invaders have been, intergang has been taking over our country and taking resources. You're just cool with that? I was kind of happy that somebody was trying to hold them accountable.
No, I don't disagree with that.
She said the same thing you did. You only care about our country because our champion, our superhero, is here now.
Yeah, and they tried to blur the line between kind of, good and evil in this movie as well, a little bit with Black Adam, he, being for his country, but not necessarily a good guy in some respects. So he kind of ends up being a good guy in the end.
I think he ends up being a good guy, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be threatened.
Well, no, I'm not saying that,
Or
but I mean...
challenged. Like, if you want to come and talk, I feel like he's open to that now.
Well,
but Amanda Waller
Superman
doesn't
came
talk.
to give him a chat up. Henry Cavill. I
Yeah.
was pretty excited to see that.
I know, you were darn right giddy.
I was darn right giddy.
One thing I do applaud is how they used Cyclone. I thought they made her powers look so pretty.
Okay, I was going to say, because I thought if Cyclone wasn't there, like, nothing changes. Same with Atom Smasher. I'm not sure. I mean, they try to make it like, oh, look, we did important things. Like, I held up the debris, and it's like...
The newbies, which I think is kind of cool that they're like,
Certainly.
we'll take the newbies along to get some experience.
I get that. It was like, we maybe potentially want to use these two new characters somewhere else, so let's bring them in and introduce them. Because, like I said, if you remove them from the movie, I don't know that much changes.
No, they didn't have a huge effect on the plot, let's say.
Yeah.
But I thought they were handled really well.
Okay. What did you think of The Rock as Black Adam?
I mean, he didn't have his little evil goatee or whatever, but no, I'm kidding. I actually thought he did pretty well. He had that menacing, evil guy aura.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I was honestly surprised. This is a PG-13 rating, but there was a lot of death. And they didn't sugarcoat it like some of the other, like Marvel does, and you don't think about, did people just die? They're just like, man, stop killing people. And he's like, they're bad guys. I'm going to kill them.
Yeah. I mean, I thought The Rock did a really good job. I thought there was humor in it as well, and it wasn't so much what Marvel humor has become, where it's so kind of overt that you're just like, oh God, it's not even funny because it kind of takes you out of the moment. Mm-hmm. I thought, him with his catch lines or his catchphrase, and and getting it right there at the bitter end. Like, that wasn't bad.
I enjoyed it.
I kind of feel like that's what Marvel used to be.
Like
It
I
used
said,
to be a
this
little more
felt
subtle.
like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, before Marvel
In a
just
lot
kind
of
of like
ways.
embraced humor way too much.
I even like it when he threw that guy with the speeder and somebody's like, or they're like, hey, bring, guy back, we're going to question him. And he's like, you see him falling back and he goes, he didn't make it.
Yes.
As fast as he could have saved him, but he's like, nah.
One thing that irked me about this movie, and it's something that's irked me in a lot of superhero movies lately, if you go back to that first Avengers movie, it was all about protecting civilians. Like, their job was there to save lives. And now Doctor Strange was another movie, or the Multiverse of Madness was another movie. It's like, are you trying to protect, like, random civilians? Or are you just doing things like, you got these big explosions and
Black
collateral
Adam protected
damage.
more citizens than the Justice
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of
Society.
getting at. The Justice League Society showed up.
Justice League Society. Justice Society?
The Justice Society showed up and, like, didn't at any point, like, seem concerned with civilians.
Like I said, they probably don't understand the even culture to this place. They probably just look at this country as this is a bad country. Probably because Intergang is here and they clearly have advanced
that,
weaponry
but that doesn't
and
mean the
stuff.
people, of that country are bad. I mean, it's kind of like, wow, like, am I supposed to be even rooting for these guys? They don't seem to care at all about this country. They don't care about civilians or, collateral damage or...
Right, they cared a little
blowing
bit.
up
They did
buildings.
protect the kid at one,
the
and
kid,
his mom
he's
at
the
one
main
point when
character,
Cyclone's
yeah.
powers were going to skewer him. Dr. Fate grabbed
That's a
them.
main character. Well, of course
It
they're
also
gonna...
is showing that the younger ones especially have no experience.
Well,
They
sure.
weren't
Well, then do
being
you
as
bring them into the
cautious.
field when a city is being, attacked, essentially?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I've noticed this trend lately in, again, superhero movies, where it's just like, we just have to have the big explosions and things look cool, and our heroes tend to forget about the civilians involved.
Yeah.
That was one
The
thing I
people that they're
really,
there
really
for.
liked about Avengers, is like, they were like, okay, we got to save these people. We're here to, all right, let's corral them into this area,
that's why
all
I-
these things. And it's like, movies nowadays, like, how cool can we make the explosion look like?
Well, that's why I thought Black Adam may have been teaching them in a way. Like he was
shouldn't need to-
looking after the citizens more.
They shouldn't require teaching.
I'm just
is
saying
kind of my point.
I feel like was looking after the citizens more and
Yes.
protecting the citizens.
I don't
and then you have
disagree
that scene
so
where
much,
his
yeah.
statue is falling and he immediately gets in there and then Adam Smasher's like, I got this. Maybe he was kind of understanding that protecting those people is more
Like, that's
important
like-
than going after the bad guy.
That's the first page,
Well,
of Heroes
maybe Amanda
101,
Waller's
day one.
101
You open your book and it's like, civilians protect.
That's not what Amanda Waller would put in her manifesto.
Sure, but I'm
the
assuming-
Justice League would probably have been like, we have to prioritize getting these people out of here and evacuating them. Amanda Waller's like, I don't care what you do, you bring him in cold.
I can bring him in warm, or I can bring him in cold.
No, she only goes cold.
Yes, I believe that. But you know what I'm saying. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm kind of tired of, like, just, we got to put cool stuff on the screen, so let's have our heroes endanger civilians without ever thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
It gets annoying.
I wonder if Dr. Fate will return. The Helmet's probably off to choose a new
Somehow,
steward.
Dr. Fate has returned.
Well, maybe we'll actually see Dr. Fate.
A movie?
To see actually Fate.
Oh, yeah,
Because he would have to go and choose a new host.
potentially.
That's what the Helmet does.
I
chooses
mean,
a new host.
potentially we'll see that, is what I'm
I
saying.
remember in the cartoon show Young Justice at one time Zatanna put the helmet on.
I
When
remember
she was
this,
young
yes.
Zatanna and Dr. Fate was going to be her and then her father made a deal that he would become Fate in her
Yeah.
place.
I remember I saw that episode. Mm-hmm. So yeah, kind of wrapping it up now. Like, I had fun watching it,
I did too.
for sure. I liked Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I liked him as Black Adam. Not that I'm the most knowledgeable when it comes to Black Adam. I liked him. I liked, for the most part, the team of the Justice Society, other than the issues I've kind of brought up. The plot was kind of like okay.
I liked that they found a way to keep Black Adam true to his character because for the most part he's kind of seen as a villain, but like I said, like Dr. Doom, he wants to look after his own, his own
Yeah.
country. I like that they decided to not take him out of his, his designated area, so henceforth they could keep him looking like a hero throughout the movie, even though historically in the comics he is a villain.
Yeah, that's another thing I was kind of, he's definitely not considered a good. He's basically Shazam's rival as far as I know.
Yes, he and Shazam don't get along.
Yeah.
If you're ever looking for a really good animated DC special, there's a Superman versus Shazam or something out there. I think that's what it's called. That one, excellent. I think I showed that to you once.
Yeah, you did. All right, so to the hammer scale.
Yeah, you go first, as per usual.
I'm somewhere between a 6 and a 7 on the hammer scale.
I'm proud of you. I didn't know you'd give it that high.
I didn't know that that's high. I mean, 7 is high. I'm going to give it a 6. I was entertained, but I'm like, this is kind of... It was kind of generic, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there was anything that really like, wow, this is... It stood out to me that I'm like, I need to see more Black Adam. Again, I like The Rock as Black Adam, but it was like, if this never went anywhere other than to see, Henry Cavill Superman again, I don't think I'd really care too much.
I'm giving it a 7, just pretty much because The Rock's performance takes it up a level.
He was good. I thought he was good.
Very good.
Yeah, you could tell he actually wanted to do this character. You could tell he's excited to do the character.
He was very happy to do it. You can tell.
Yeah, I like that.
You can feel the passion and heart he's putting into what he's doing, and that's why I'm giving it a 7. I can feel it.
I think
he might be breathing some life back into the DC.
He breathed life into this movie for me, and so did Superman, but that's a whole other. But no, I think if you do a different scenario, if you had brought him into like Shazam 2 as the villain and The Rock playing him, I think I would have liked it a hell of a lot better.
I think I wanted more of the villain.
I would have preferred to see him as the villain because it was just kind of because you're sitting there watching it like I know he's supposed to be badass and doing like mean things to these bad people, but I'm like, well, he's not coming off as the bad guy at all.
I don't think throwing him right with Shazam is, especially the Shazam we have right now. Zach. Don't get me wrong, I like the Shazam movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one.
But I feel like the Shazam character is played too juvenile sometimes.
Too juvenile, really? Isn't that kind of the point of Shazam, though?
Right, but he is supposed to be, a kid who takes responsibility seriously and is trying to do the right... He's a good kid at heart.
Okay.
He gets a little too goofy when he's in his Shazam form. I'm going to charge your phone.
You're right. You're right. That was one of my gripes.
Hopefully in the new movie, he gets more mature at this respect.
That was one of my gripes with the first Shazam. Is like he did kind of become too childish as Shazam. Yeah.
Shazam straight together with Black Adam, who is very serious, would clash in such a weird way that I can't see it working quite yet.
Then I would have almost preferred a Black Adam. I mean, not that you really do them, but like just villain movie. Like, why not go all in?
They could. Why not?
I mean, it's a little late for that now, but...
Every villain is a hero in his own story.
So true. So yeah, final 6 hammers. 7. I enjoyed it. It was fine. It's nothing all that memorable, but it's enjoyable.
I very much enjoyed it, and that's about all I'll say. I really had a good time. I even liked when they did the little Western scene. You saw the Western on the movie with the old... showdown. I can't think of that actor's name. Dirty
Clint
Harry.
Eastwood, yeah. No, that's not Dirty Harry, but it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, it's not the old Clint Eastwood, and then you get the showdown scene where then he hits them all with the lightning. The visuals, the effects were really well done. CGI could always be better. Sometimes when you get 2 CGI characters fighting on a screen, it gets a little mucky, but that is just the limit of our technology, I think.
Sometimes they embrace the CGI battles a little too much. That's another gripe I had that I'm glad we bring up here in like the 20th minute that no one will see. I think the CGI battles were a bit much at times. It gets so much that it's just like it loses its impact when you use it so much and do these kind of ridiculous things. You're like, yeah, okay, I've seen it before.
They should just sit down and play some sabacc. Sorry, I'm going to leave it at that joke and not say a word about it.
And on that note, well, that's all we got for you this time. So take to the comments below. Tell us if you saw Black Adam and what you thought of it. Did you enjoy it? Did you like The Rock in here? Do you want to see Black Adam again? Do you want to see Black Adam versus Superman? I think that's where we're headed.
I smelled what The Rock was cooking.
And so leave your comments below. Let's talk some DC. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Smelled like burnt people.
If you smell what Black Adam is cooking.